My name's Harry Moffat, for those who don't know. We've been here for a while now. If everyone doesn't mind, can you just stand up quickly, everyone? Is that okay? If you don't mind, you might not thank me for this. You all sit down, you're listening. I've got you on board, and that was one of the first things that I got from the EEAS conference. I thought, really good. Sometimes go down like a lead balloon, which I think I might have done just now. But other times it might be alright.
Some of it could do with the exercise.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, we're rejuvenated, so here we are. So, the EEAS conference, for those of you who don't know, EEAS has been running for 50 years, mostly as a publisher for production scale organic and sustainable farming, which has now gone with the movement into regenerative farming. And I was looking up today, it says it's been running for 50 years. Today was this year was their 49th conference that I went to, so I guess I've been doing one every year. And they also produce a monthly mag, so that's what EEAS is. It's a publishing company first and foremost, lots of books on offer there. And they've moved on to doing these conferences, which was excellent, as you will see. So where did we head to? We flew to Madison, Wisconsin. I didn't really know where it was before I went. So it's this tiny red dot up there in Northeast America. Zooming in, so we flew over to Chicago and drove up the side of Lake Michigan there. 2 or 3 hours, I suppose that is. So here to Bristol, something like that. A stone's throw for America. It truly is a massive country. Travel can go one or two ways, and we got the good way that day. It was quite an easy to get to. So the conference itself, I promise you, it's not all pictures of backs of people's head like you see on LinkedIn. It's pet peeves of mine. The conference itself was it was a 4-day event, or a 2 or a 4-day. We went for the whole 4 days. The first 2 days were workshops, so much smaller groups. Not everyone was there at the start of the week. So we were fortunate enough you could pick what workshops we were going to. So 2 days workshop, long days, sort of 8 hours of solid learning, but actually they were the two best days for me in terms of learning. So I did go over colleague, that's what I'm saying, we all the time. We thought we'll make sure we split up, we need to go to different things, but actually what we both really were interested in was what the Understanding Ag guys were offering. Understanding Ag, those of you in the regen movement have heard of Gabe Brown and Alan Williams, that's their company. And their team, who were absolutely fantastic. It was this chap here who taught me the stand-up thing, so I got him to blame for that. But anyway, I'll stick to it. So really, it was a room of maybe there was 60 to 80 people at most. It was hard to tell. So, but the way it was all laid out, we got some really almost direct contact with these guys throughout the whole 2 days, and they just delivered. Like almost off the cuff. On the first day we were up at 4 AM because of jet lag. So down to breakfast when it opened, 6 AM. All of those guys were there, and we said, "Oh God, it's Gabe Brown. Can we go have breakfast with him?" So we said, "Do you mind if we sit with you?" He said, "Yeah, of course you can." And all his team were there, and they were kind of just like, "Yeah, so we've got to do a 2-day workshop." Not really, they weren't really sure what was going on. They were just sat there like, "Yeah, so you can cover, you'll do a bit on livestock." And he goes, I'll do a bit on orchards, and blah, blah, like that. And they were just sat there, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a train wreck. Got there, 8:30 AM, bam, like the best lesson of everything you need to know in such a short amount of time possible. They just off the cuff, they were brilliant people. If you get a chance to go and see them, or when they come over, just offer to host them for an afternoon, just whatever. Because they are so knowledgeable and actually all so nice, so approachable. They're just normal, they're just farmers really, who are driving this movement. They covered the whole sort of types of regenerative agriculture, even the stuff with orchards. And to me, I know nothing about orchards other than we used to have one. There was apples everywhere and it smelled like cider when we mowed underneath it. But actually, the principles of regenerative agriculture, which I'll come to later, they all relate no matter what you're growing. At the end of it, it's just all about biology, basically, soil biology. If you can get that right, the rest comes with it. The quality of food, which is, I'll come on to a bit of that later. You talked about the quality of food, and that was a big take home for me as well. I'm skipping there. And actually, you know, I always kind of knew what I thought regenerative agriculture was. And then it was actually, I think it was a lady sat over here, could have been that lady there. She put her hand up, she's like, I farm bison at home, and you know, I was struggling to get this right and whatever, something like that. And then after the end of the day, it kind of clicked with me what regenerative agriculture is. It's mimicking the natural ecosystems of what was once there as best as possible whilst still producing food, if that makes sense. I've not got that line nailed down yet, what I'm going to say to people. But the bison thing, what it clicked with me was, I went to Yellowstone National Park when I was 12, something like that, and there were herds of bison everywhere. They were healthy, they weren't jabbed, like we jab our sheep every year. They managed themselves, they fed themselves, they moved around, and that was pretty much completely natural. There's a really good bit, someone showed me about reintroducing wolves into the Yellowstone because the natural ecosystem was then natural again. They killed all the wolves, the bison weren't moving, it wasn't really working properly. So anyway, where I'll come back to, bison, the penny drop, regenerative agriculture, mimicking our natural ecosystems as best as possible, and then just to tie that in, that is what we have to aim at. It's how we do that with farming, which is what we're all working with, we're all still learning. And a good place to start would be to talk to those guys at the front, especially if they come over. So the 2 days of workshop, they were excellent, and at the end of the second day was what they called the opening of the conference, even though it felt like we'd been there for ages. The opening of the conference was the keynote speech by Alan Williams, who was a co-founder of the Understanding Ag team. And this was all based on food production and the quality of food. Like you were talking about, a lot of the whole why we do this, why we want to do regenerative stuff. Food is medicine. You know, America, they were saying how it's a wealthy country, but per person, they have the most expensive health bill per person in like the world or something. And it all comes down to how we get healthy food is from our healthy soils, which is from farming the regenerative way. And it was as simple as that, really. You know, you can talk to the cows come home about what we're going to do, what drill you're going to buy, what crops you're going to do, but keep it simple. What we need to do is grow healthier food with less inputs. And these guys, they just kept on dialing into me, and really, the penny was dropping, and reasons why we were doing it was becoming much more clear to me. The big key take home, food is medicine, and that's really stuck with me since. Like, even to the point that I'm an absolute lover of cake. I love a Victoria sponge, and something else I saw on the BBC as well. You go buy a Swiss roll or something full of jam and cream, then what's all the bits in the sponge, the preservatives to keep it for 6 weeks in this packet? And I thought, oh, well, I'll never buy a cake again. And then you think, you make a lovely one at home, chickens in the garden, flour, much more simple. I'll always stick to that now, but it's something I used to it was just a cheat, I'll just grab it and go. But even since then, I've a bit of a mindset change, which is a lot of it. The conference and the trade show began, and we managed to read a real cowboy. It was a bit of a this guy I was fanboying him, a chap called Will Harris from South Georgia, Bluffton, South Georgia. I'm just reading this book at the minute. If you get a chance to, it's lovely. And the audio book, the way he just speaks, is just like, he goes a bit of whoosh, he's talking about this. He was really nice guy. He even signed my book, and he spilled hot tea on me at the same time, which is a story. He said, we saw him later in the conference, I rang my daughter and said I spilled hot coffee on this Englishman. It's all right, it's okay. He was a really lovely guy, because he'd come across quite stern, but what he's done in this book is he sort of transformed his local village, which was a really quiet town, Bluffton, nothing going on, no one really there, everyone had left. And he made this regenerative way, which he'll be the first to tell you, I think his wage bill was $100,000 a week. He needed a lot more people to do it. But his inputs are way less, and his quality of food is much higher. And actually, he's been at it for so long now, the yields of everything is coming up as well. And that's a lot of what this book is about, is the wider benefits of regenerative agriculture, the healthy food, the people he's employed, and all that. And that was the start of the third day, and we'd had our brains, loaded with the Understanding Ag guys for a bit. We kind of went, let's just go see Will Harris for a treat for an hour or two, and it was great, and I'm really glad we did. So, not the best picture, and I said it would be pictures of backs ahead all day, but for those of you who are Regen Ag keynotes like myself, you've got John Kempf on the far left, the founder of Understanding Ag podcast, and he did say, because we've got this picture in our magazine, you're not allowed to take pictures of him, and he's actually okay with this. It's okay that I've got this. Next is Joel Salatin, who I thought was absolutely fantastic. He spoke for like an hour and a half about marketing, basically, and I was absolutely blown away about what he said. He's, again, a small farm, gone regenerative, marketed really well. He's quite an outspoken guy. I think he's even going for a senator position or something, but I thought he was absolutely brilliant in what he said. Next chap, Gary Zimmer, the man who talks the quickest speaking person I've ever heard in my life. I often get quite quick when I'm delivering talks like this, but here's a really interesting person. Then on the right, Gabe Brown. So they did a panel session, and to be honest, a lot of it was a bit of a blur. There's some guys that are like, fangirling and all this. And I couldn't really tell you something really important that from that actual session. It was at the end of the third day. But anyway, John, everything I know of him was quite a serious guy and all this. So, but up there they were having a bit of back and forth. These four. Anyway, John, he said, let me get his question right. I asked a question to the panel. Tell me something you've believed for a long time, but recently you've changed your mind. I know you might be thinking something. I don't think it's going to be what you're thinking. But anyway, Joel Salatin gave a really long bit about his food security and how people are starting to believe in this. And Gary Zimmer, even though he sort of sells fertilizers, or his company does, but he believes definitely artificial inputs, we need to be lowering this, blah, blah, blah. And then Gabe Brown at the end, he just goes, well, John, to be honest, I thought you were always a little stuck up. And they've been having sort of camaraderie all week, and it just took everyone by surprise. But it was really one of the highlights of the conference was listening to those four in the same place at one time. The people there were just completely lovely, and we were the only English guys there. Now, it's English guys, quite tall blokes, and stick out as you can see. But these were some friends of ours from the Understanding, Advancing Eco Agriculture. John Kent's company. These two have been over, and we've hosted them at work a bit before. So they were really kind to us. Saw us, took us out for dinner. And mind you, the dinner, when they took us out, we went into Madison, which was about a 20-minute drive. We're like, yeah, we'll go. Walk down to go get in the car and drive, and it was just an absolute blizzard, and I mean a blizzard, like, complete horizontal snow, absolutely freezing. But we went anyway. The lovely, brilliant pizza, a lovely evening with great people, and we got loads of connections throughout the week. Spoke to loads of people. Everyone was nice. And you weren't far off from them being called John or Ray. Everyone's called John or Ray. Anything John or Ray? I don't know. But 9 times out of 10, if you couldn't quite remember their name, you were on to a winner. So yeah, it was great in terms of how nice all the people were. And then it wasn't all it wasn't all solid learning, and I sort of the old 18-year-old kit lover in me had a lot of truck envy out there. And I was taking a picture of truck and bod shots. We were just like, Harry, what are you doing? You're going to grow up. But I sent this one to my boss beneath, thinking, we buy me a truck if I put my fungi on the side of it. And but yeah, that didn't go down too well. But for context, I don't know if you've not been to America for a while, you forget just how big everything is. This was our hire car, and it's actually the car I have outside. It's an SUV. It's not small, and those trucks was making my car look like a golf. You just can't believe, actually. It's just all massive scale. Anyway, the final day we got a chance to go into Madison, which is the capital of Wisconsin, not the White House, but at the, obviously it's not the White House, at the dinner, the Understanding, the AEA people were saying that Madison was potentially going to be the capital of America at one point in time, which was really nice, really clean, really lovely. I am wearing my ski gear there. The highs all week were -4. It was honestly freezing. Weirdly though, at night, look at the car there, there's no frost. It was a dry, you know, people say wet, cold or dry. It was dry. There was absolutely zero frost apart from when it snowed. But yeah, completely Baltic. And on the final day as well, we went to the Go Outdoors equivalent, and in the car park I found my sign sent to work reserved for Employee of the Year. Again, another lead balloon went down. I say it was a Go Outdoors equivalent. You know, when you talk about guns in America, it was honestly crazy. The Go Outdoors equivalent. There were guns everywhere, and then you go into the gun room, and just on the bench, sat here with just a pin through the thing. Obviously, it was a 50 cal. Like, you know, the biggest gun you can buy. I was like, oh God, this is not quite right. A pistol was $120. You got a dinner for more. It cost more. But anyway, we did get a chance to explore, and the sign didn't come back home. Felt like an absolute leveling as well, as I said. So, my key take homes from the conference. The quality of food we produce needs to be better. Food is medicine, echoing what you said, and I think that is just so key. You know, I think people talk about like phytonutrients of a tomato grown today to what was grown 50 years ago. You need to eat 10 to get the equivalent out of it. We must do everything to protect our soil. You know, it's a finite resource. We can grow it. We can keep it. You know, if I said to you, would you like some more land? You'd say yes, but the way to get it is up and down now. You know, it's not this way. In the UK, we're running out of space. We've run out of space. Oh, hang on. A big one that the Unstandard Ag people said, and they said they tested millions of acres of soil, and they said there wasn't one soil that didn't have the nutrients in it required to grow a crop, but it's what was available, which all comes down to essentially soil biology. You can get that biology available, it's all there. There's a chap in who does good talks, and he talks about chest freezers. You probably all got a chest freezer. Do you actually know what's in it? Probably not really. And that's kind of what's in your soil. You've got stuff there, you don't know what's in it, how you're going to unlock it. And that way we're able to reduce our inputs, healthier food, and that leads me to say that biology is what we need to be farming. The soil underneath our ground, if we can farm that, the rest will come with it. And that doesn't mean our artificial inputs are always the answer. It doesn't mean go cold turkey and cut them out, but I think we can certainly start thinking about reducing them. That comes by knowledge, a change in mindset, and quite frankly, a lot of testing. You know, we don't know what's there. You don't know what's in your chest freezer. You've got to go and have a look and work out how I can cook that. You know, bit of mud jack shot 4 years ago. I thought that'd be great. You know, that's what we're trying to get out. Regenerative agriculture is mimicking our natural environment as close as possible while still growing agricultural crops, as I spoke about earlier. But I did think, you know, there is hope. There was a great movement there from what was going on in America. We're hearing a lot of people are nodding their heads, which I think maybe 5 years ago would be like, shut up, Harry, what are you on about? You over in Nepal, you're saying food is medicine, you're on the same sort of lines. And also, something that did stick with me, someone else was talking, didn't really enjoy his talk, but about the one thing I did get from him, he said his son is gluten intolerant, so couldn't eat bread from America. And why I say that, he said he imports their bread or their flour from Europe, the UK, and his son could eat that because the quality is better. So I'm thinking if America's there, we're here, but we probably need to be here. In terms of food quality, and that's why I say there is hope. And you know, there was a great movement there. I think John Kemp said to everyone in the crowd, who is coming to acres for the first time? I reckon 80% of people put their hand up. So big movement, you know, and things like Groundswell here is a sellout every year. So there is hope. I don't think it's all doom and gloom, but I think we've got to do something perhaps a bit quicker. And then just finishing with a massive thank you. I probably wouldn't have been able to go without the scholarship from the Eastern Agricultural Society, so it enabled me to go. It's going to help with my career going forward, and knowledge, and hopefully the rest of farming in the UK, and we're all going to live forever on lovely food now. So there you go, in a nutshell, quick as I could.